What I'm going to do is show you guys how to make an easy woods on like a mountainside or a forest or something. All you do is you go out. I know everybody's done this, but this is one of the easiest and cheapest and most realistic looking ways you'll probably find, at least in my opinion. I have this whole mountainside to do. If you've seen our other videos, you've seen the mountains that I'm creating here. Go out in your yard, your field, anywhere, and get sticks. All these are is dried weeds. This is spring right now, so we got these left over from where they died during the winter. That's from an oak tree right there. All it is like the crotch of a tree or a limb. You just go cut them into, you take some pruning shears, make sure you got a flat base so they sit flat, and just trim them so that it's basically in a tree shape. You'll want to pick out one or two of them that have good stable crotches, and that way you can use it to lean against like that. Right now I'm going to take this stick right here, hot glue gun, most essential, hot glue gun, put on some hot glue, decent amount, not crazy but decent. Let's put it in there and it'll just chill out right there, just like that. Take your stick that's got the good base and just let it sit like that. Within 5 minutes it's done. As you can see, I've started to do the mountain like this. Alright? Underneath all this right here, this is all nothing more than that. Here down south, this stuff is deer moss or lichen, and it grows in wild bundles like this in the woods. I'll show you how to paint it in a minute. You just set this on top of there, just like that, and from a distance it's got the different shades and it looks just like the sun glistening off of it in different trees, especially when you're back like 10 or 15 feet. And when I'll do a view like that, you guys will be able to see this looks just like the woods, and which it matches our backdrop, which I'll pan to in a second. To paint this moss, I use, as you can see, it's kind of a light green. I use like a olive drab, and then this is actually a gloss bright green. The gloss won't matter, so it's just, you just want cheap paints. But this is a bright green, bright like the can, and a dark camouflage. It's already got its own color variation on it. But as soon as you start spraying it, you want to leave a little bit of it exposed. That way the bright green kind of pops out a little bit more. Otherwise, generally, you want to color most of it, because as a cloud pattern goes through, sunlight through the clouds, you'll get some different color textures and stuff. Overall with the dark, like a khaki or an olive drab, and then go over it, and I'm sure you can probably start to see how it's got the different tones in it. The brighter green will actually just kind of be more of a forest green, and the green we left starts to turn light green, just because this is bright. Then you can go over it again and kind of hit different spots, and that way on the mountainside it'll give us different color tones. When you see it applied on the mountain, you'll totally get what I'm talking about. I'll do another one here real fast. It's really simple. Just kind of spray it. Probably should be wearing gloves so you don't spray your hand, but you get the gist of it. Alright, and see how these two turned out. Now we'll go inside and set them up on the layout. Using this method, what you really get is a true three-dimensional forest. As I kind of walk up to it here, you can see the brush along the edge, yet you can see into the woods. once I get the trees on top actually put down, it'll give it more shade like a true forest, but yet you will be able to actually see into it. And what I've done is, I don't know how well this turns out, but you can see debris on the bottom, on the forest floor, as you want to call it. You can sprinkle a lot more in there, and that will give it a 100% true feel, you know, of leaves dropping and things like that. And if you look at the base of the trees, you'll see right there is one of my oak trees, and meanwhile right there is just a brown stick. Well, you don't need to weather that because nature weathered it. Here's a view from the backside looking down, and you can kind of see right into the forest where I'm also, you know, there's my hot glue gun. I'm still applying trees. You can see I've got some propped up right there that are drying right now, and I've got right in front a few more to put down. Meanwhile, you can totally get the three-dimensional aspect feel for doing it this style. As you can see from the backdrop we installed on the left, how it'll kind of blend in with the mountain once I get it done. And you can still see, like I say, I'm about 10 or 12 foot away from that mountain right now. And you can see the color variations in the trees. Now underneath the bottoms where it meets the gray mountain, we'll have to blend that in with a different, you know, shrubbery and stuff. But from here, it's all going to look basically like one huge mountain. I'm doing the best I can to blend it in with like the Appalachian mountain in the backdrop. Now you look at this backdrop over here, it's got a little bit of orange and stuff in it, the oranges of fall. Well, what we're going to do is when I'm done, I've got a bag of, I think it's Woodland Scenics lichen that's got the orange and yellow, and I'm just going to sprinkle that across the mountain, and that way it'll give the same amount of just the oranges and browns and stuff to try to match it into the backdrop, hopefully with, you know, same amount, not too much but not too little. And hopefully, I hope you guys agree that that mountain actually looks pretty good for just being sticks and deer moss.